There's something I found similar between all of the media I cherish. In anime, it was Violet's longing for passionate emotion. In games, it was Edith's connection to mortality and the feelings that come with it. In cinema, it was Evelyn comforting joy in the face of nihilism that consumed them. Most recently, it was the Chainsaw Man movie featuring Reise's and Denji's romance that overpowered everything else in the story. In my opinion, all great stories are love stories. Any amount of time and money can be utilized to increase production and technical quality of a project. However, there's very little authors and writers can do to replicate the essence of a well-developed story. In order to get your audience to care about the conflict, drama, and comedy relief of a narrative, there needs to be emotion that gets people invested. Most often, this arrives in the form of affection or love. It can be familial love, romantic love, any kind of genuine affection that captures fans' hearts. Chainsaw Man uses Denji's search for belonging and pure fondness to bring out meaning in the fights that he chooses. I'll be spoiling the Chainsaw Man movie, so here's your warning if you haven't seen it. The arc that the film covers is the beginning of this internal struggle that Denji experiences throughout the entirety of the story. To start off, the entire first season didn't have much time for breaks. It was very fast paced as much of the first part of the manga is. Don't worry, I won't be going into specifics past the Reise arc, but this film was authentically the natural point with which we get to see Denji live. He fights with his friends, he ditches work and sneaks out at night. One of the most important points Reise brings up in conversations is Denji. This isn't normal for a 16-year-old. The public safety job that he was roped into puts him at heavy risk. He massacres the zombie devil. In the hotel, he faces scrutiny from some of his allies and survives a hellish encounter with the Eternity Devil. Later, he is defeated by Katana Man, only to make it by the skin of his teeth and triumph over his gang in a counterattack. With all the visions, spectacles, and events we're given direct viewing of, you could understand that nobody normally could make it in Denji's shoes. That is the very fact that the story is built upon. The cruel reality that Denji grew up working for the Yakuza, putting food on the table for himself, never stepping foot in the school. These privileges that seem normal to anyone are only realized to Denji in his public safety job. He boasts multiple times to people, including Reise, that having somewhere to sleep and tasty food to eat is everything he could ever ask for. He has no semblance of normalcy. These story beats that we sum up to just being another shonen reveal their true purpose in the Chainsaw Man movie. There's a scene where Denji sneaks into a school at night to explore and cause some chaos. Reise, the love interest at this point, leads him to the pool where the movie reaches its first climax. Honestly, if you have seen this film, you understand the kind of emotional experience that this montage puts you through. Taking us into their minds, the movie flares up this childish joy in us that feels far and few between these days. For Denji, it is a moment of pure whimsy. Not knowing how to swim, yet not feeling fear of the water, he cautiously yet excitedly wades through the water and enters unfettered elation with Reise. Without her, there wouldn't have been a moment like this to enjoy. From our assumption, Reise is the new light in Denji's life. She was the one who met him in the phone booth and invited him to her cafe. He matches her pace and meets her there immediately. Reise loves to talk with him as he jokes around both purposefully and naively. They match their pace in this dance they're doing. This pair of people have such amazing chemistry with one another that superstitious people would believe they are soulmates. It's different from any of the other interactions he's had with women up to this point. As he mentions in the film, other women haven't treated Denji in the best way. At first, Power despised Denji. In a moment I feared Himeno almost took advantage of him. Kobeni utterly fears him and violently displays this. Makima, the one who Denji had set his heart on, also seems manipulative to a certain degree, purposefully confusing him and causing him to become flustered. It's as if she has him on a leash. This is acceptable only on the basis that Denji doesn't have standards. He never has had any due to the rough upbringing he never chose for himself. Stemming from this is the expectation that romance is lust. A basic instinct many of us have is driving Denji to believe that this physical contact and accomplishment is what it means to be attracted and loved. Everything Makima has done has been preying on his drive. That's why Denji is conflicted between the two women in his life. From Makima, Denji conflates her teasing and manipulation with love. From Reize, he feels something more than what he's known. As Reize teaches him how to swim, Denji believes that she could show him a lot more than just that. This isn't meant to be ominous or to be led on, but at its core, something pure that both of them feel from each other. When Denji's eyes sparkle, Reize laughs and giggles. Their synergy is golden. The second climax is when Reize unveils her true identity to the rest of the cast. As the Bomb Devil, she's been given the mission of attaining Chainsaw Man's heart, just as the rest of the enemies at this point want. In a heated chase scene, Reize blasts past dozens of people, wreaking havoc in a rush to capture Denji. Public safety fights back and eventually Denji faces her head on. At this point, Denji doesn't know what to think. He still thinks of Reize as someone he wants to spend time with and get to know. So fighting her like this feels contradictory. He knows what his thoughts are showing him, but his feelings are telling him another story. This fight elapses for the majority of the second half of the film. It's a spectacle that is unmatched, truly showing how different the large moments are to the small moments. They end the conflict and end up on the beach. After exchanging words with one another, Reize attempts to leave. Denji stops her and tells her he still likes what they have. Ultimately, Reize chalks up her affection to being a cover-up for the mission. And as we watch the final moments of the film, we see Reize's demise and her life fleeting. Through everything, she accepts the affection that she held for Denji. In my eyes, there's two different ways love stories can end. As the audience, we either remain satisfied with the resolved happy ending or watch long enough to bear witness to tragedy. Even if a story ends with a pair's marriage and matrimony, realistically, we can become aware of all the horrible things that can occur from then until death do they part. It just so happens that Chainsaw Man is written with all these misfortunes. Even so, Chainsaw Man Reize arc is the beginning of one of the best love stories I've ever had the pleasure of experiencing. The author of Chainsaw Man, Tatsuki Fujimoto, is accustomed to writing these stories that dive into the graphic side of relationships. He might be writing about love, but in this case, there's an ugly face to love that is too common among couples and dynamics: abuse. From what we've seen in season 1 and the movie, we can say that Makima has given Denji a lot of opportunities. In that same vein, she's shut off plenty of doors from him. It's easy to see how slowly her manipulative tactics are becoming more blatant. Closing another path, Makima kills Reize, effectively snuffing the spark that Reize brought to Denji's life. Again, he was brought back around to trying to realize what living as a human really means. That includes finding belonging and love. I believe all great stories are love stories. There's no doubt that love can enhance a piece of art past a threshold. In the case of Chainsaw Man, we'll see time and time again Denji search for this missing part of his heart. Past all the action and horror, love is the crux that Chainsaw Man rests upon. Let's not forget that as we head into the later parts of the series. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you all later, you cool people.